Gabrielle here. It's day 18 of my Walk to Life, Journey to Life vlog blog series. And today I'm going to be walking with the point of, are we eternally fucked? And this was brought up yesterday due to a video I saw on YouTube about how they found documents were leaked by the government, the US government, about how they are creating camps here, and prison camps pretty much for like terrorists, and also it's civilian disobedience. There's also documents that were signed by the president saying that they can go in and search a house, take the person without getting a warrant for their arrest. They can just take them into custody. So it's kind of showing that we're losing our rights here. And it's kind of all this fear-based future projection scenarios that possibly could play out. So within the self-forgiveness, I walk points of stopping this point of hope, and within hoping that somehow the future will be better, and then going into the opposite of that of like discouragement, and also existing within the point of separating myself from the government and the elite and seeing them as the ones responsible for what's wrong in this world, and that they are to blame. So walking the forgiveness to stop separating myself from the elite, from the people in power, so thus I can take responsibility for myself as the issue, as I'm one and equal with the government, with the people in power, and thus there's no sense in going to blame or trying to justify why what is here is their fault when I've done nothing but done the same type of reasoning why this world is the way it is. The government and the people in power are basing themselves on fear. Fear of losing what they have, fear of the unknown, fear of what's to come. So thus within this fear we go into survival and do all sorts of things to try to protect our survival. And that's one and equal within all life here and all people. So thus realizing this point of equality within that we need to all take responsibility for who we are and change ourselves, stopping the fear that exists within all of humanity. And that's pretty much our starting point, is fear. So I realize this point and just stopping the fear within myself. Also stopping future projection and what if scenarios, what could happen in the future, and just living here within my breath and physical movement and what I'm physically doing in each moment, and thus having the opportunity to change myself within realizing myself here. Because if you're in the future, you're kind of losing your power to change yourself here, because you're going into fear and mind thoughts of possible outcomes, possible scenarios that could happen, and thus wasting your time here and having the opportunity to change yourself here. If you're in the future, if you're projecting yourself in the future, you're not here. And if you're not here, you're not focusing on process. You're focusing on dimensions in your mind, as the future is within your head as a future projection into the future, which is not created yet. It's not here. So thus, you're separating yourself from here by focusing on future projections, on what if scenarios. So thus, losing your self-empowerment. And within that future projection, what if scenarios, many things can be created. And so thus I would see that I was walking in fear and fearing these people, fearing what could happen, and all the scenarios that people talk about. But if you're stuck in that point of future projection, you're missing the opportunity to change yourself here and find solutions here. Change how you're living within each moment, and stopping future projection, because your opportunity is here within breathing, within physical action, within physical participation. So pretty much stopping going into the mind and living here and correcting myself here, because you only have so much time to walk this process here. You're not living here infinitely. So your process is to be walked in diligency and a daily living, so that you can move each day and correct yourself as you see your faulty living. So also points I walked was separating myself from the elite, the people in power, realizing that I'm one and equal with them, and thus we're all within this point of fear. So stopping fear as well, and existing here within the moment. Not going into fear, because fear causes yourself to separate yourself, because you're going into separation of not allowing yourself to just remain here and do what you have to do no matter what comes at you, because fear is just pretty much useless. It only diminishes you, and it's a point to just walk it and stop it, because you pretty much are just sabotaging yourself, because you're just fearing yourself. You're one and equal with what is here. So it's best to just face yourself and what's here, and find the faulty living, find what was created to cause whatever was faulty in what you see as living situations, and change yourself to be the solution, to correct yourself and walk solutions here. Also stopping existing in hope, and seeing the hope as a point of escaping from, again, myself, and existing in again, what if scenarios, future projections, hoping that something can change, something will happen to make life better and easier here, and thus abdicating again my self-responsibility to take responsibility for who I've been, how I've created myself to be in the situation that's here, and thus stopping this point of hope as escapism and becoming the solution again within myself here, breathing, walking in the physical, and remaining in what I have to do, as in walking self-honesty, self-forgiveness, facing who I am, seeing who I am and what I'm being, and change that point to walk what's best for all. Self-correction and then walking what's best for all. So the self-correction was to stop the fear, stop separating myself from what is here, and stop existing in future projections, and pretty much walking the same points I've been walking, staying within a NAS, physical, breathing, stopping emotional points and stopping mind realities, is going into what if scenarios, stopping hope, stopping trying to escape myself to, made up realities as hope, and then going into depression when this doesn't live out. So just going into that cycle of up and down, remaining here, stopping that cycle of hope, existing in hope, and then stopping the depression point, staying here within and as who I am as breath, and walking my correction to be able to be stable here and walk the solutions as myself. The only point and the only way solutions are going to be walked is if I am stable here and able to find the points within myself that need correction, such as all the separations that I'm existing as, such as this point of separating myself from the elite, stopping the separation of, between people here, existing within oneness and equality, and thus taking responsibility for everything that's here, and through taking responsibility of everything as everything is here as me, I'm able to consider everything and then be able to change myself to walk one and equal with all life and what is best for all. So thus we can start walking solutions, start correcting with a faulty living of ourselves here, starting within ourselves, and bring a world, a living reality that is equal and one in fact, because I have walked this within my physical process of correction, through self-honesty, through self-forgiveness, through corrective change, corrective action. Alright, so that's the point for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.